Hi, everyone. This is another episode of the Tennis Talk, Coaches' Voices. Is with us a great leader, a great tennis coach and former tennis player. Is with us Andres Gomez from Ecuador. Hi, Andres.
Hi, Fernando. Hi, everyone.
Thank you to be at the Coaches' Voices, the Tennis Talk, which is our main objectives is to have the main leaders in tennis to speak about what it means to be a coach, coach's principles, and how was your transformation to be a great coach and a great leader. To introduce Andres, everybody knows Andres about when he was a former tennis player. He was a former number 4 on the singles of the ATP, champion of Roland Garros, and also of 21 single titles. He was number 1 in doubles, winning 2 Grand Slam, US Open and Roland Garros, US Open 86, Roland Garros 88, 2 more Grand Slams for him, and also winning 33 doubles tournaments, which is another amazing achievement. And he has also many other great factors developing players in his academy, the Gomez Viver Tennis Academy in Ecuador. Thank you to be with us, Andres. It's a pleasure, and we can start with our first question to you. Who is Andres Gomez?
Well, first of all, nice being here. Being able to talk about my experiences as a player and now as a coach or as a tennis director. More like I like to know myself. I came from a tennis family. My father used to play. He didn't play professionally, but he played local tournaments, national tournaments, and even South American tournaments. He was the same era as Pancho Segura. At the time that they played a lot together when Pancho was in Ecuador, and obviously when Pancho went to another level. So living close to the Guayaquil Tennis Club, which is my club, it still is my club, and having my older brother playing tennis, it was easy just to go to the club all the time and being first introduced to swimming when I was 7, and then getting into the tennis school from the club with Miguel Olvera, also a great player with big achievements, especially in Davis Cup when he was part of the team that beat the U.S. in '67. So being around the club all the time, and one of the first memories that I have of getting involved with tennis was getting out of school in early in the afternoon. There was a time when we went to school first in the morning, then went back home, and then went back to school another 2 hours. That was for small cities back then, and getting to know Ricardo Casa and his mother, which were always good friends with my parents, and had the opportunity. She loved tennis, and I learned it from her to practice at an early age, and since they were done differently. My father always was behind my tennis, but never in my tennis. Just grow up seeing Davis Cup in Ecuador, and probably the very first time that I saw big players was when we had the South American Championships, known as Copa Mitre in that time, in 1972, when I had the chance to see for the first time players like Tomás Koch, Edison Mandarino, Ivan Molina, Jairo Velasco, Jaime Fillol, and Pato Rodriguez and Pato Cornejo, and Julián Ganzábal and Ricardo Cano from Argentina. And then it was the first time came this player that was making a lot of noise in Europe. There was Guillermo Vilas. He was 20 at the time, more or less, and he was winning ATP tournaments, and then that was when the big opening in South America came, and the very first time that tennis was really introduced as a sport for the region. That was a big change for me, and then kept playing, kept competing, and had a chance to go Harvey Hoffman's Academy in '77 when I was 17, 16, and that was the first time that I really got introduced to big time tennis, listening and from another person.
Yeah.
Hoffman's, as we know, won the Davis Cup as a captain like 20 times or something. He was a coach of great players like Lever, Roswell, Newcomb, Stolley, Sedgman,
Yeah.
Fraser, all the American, but especially um, the one that became my inspiration, Hugh Holt. And although I never saw him play or never had a chance to meet him, he listened to the stories from Hoffman's. That was just you know uh, made me see tennis in a different way. Not only Holt, but all these great players, and I had a chance, once a week to be sitting next to Hoffman, listening, talking to stories about all these Australians greats and all their achievements and the way of practicing and make me become more involved and in tennis. At the time, I saw I was a good player. I wanted to go to college. I didn't think too much about professionally at the time. I thought, okay, if I go to college and I do well, then probably I get out and I try to make it as a profession.
Yeah.
So a lot of things may click during those times, and uh, practicing differently, listening and seeing big players at the time that came to practice there, like South Americans, Hans Gildemeister, Ricardo Casa, Jose Luis Damiani, or players from other countries like Tim Gullickson and Russell Simpson and Paul Cronk and then Vita Sirulaitis came on. So that it's opening my eyes and seeing tennis differently from the where I was brought up to, and probably, and I was 19, I'm 62 now, and probably that was a defining moment when I started, not only loving tennis more, but more thankful about what I wanted to do with my game first, and then, with the time, passing of the time, wanted to have it to transfers my knowledge to other players, coaches, and parents.
Yeah, yeah, very good experience like a player, and also you achieved great results. Like I said before, winning Grand Slams, winning Roland Garros. By the way, when you won Roland Garros, you had you had 30 years, which and these times is more normal. But those
Now you,
times,
now you're young at 30. You just, you just getting into your prime, and that's how
probably was
much.
for you too. Was the peak, no? Was
Well, no, I was more on the way out. That I did play 4 more years on the tour, but I also started the tour when I was very young, and I mean I was 18 when I started. Not everyone started at 18, and we didn't have many futures or challenges to be playing on. If you were 18 or 19 and you had one ATP tennis point, um, that was a big achievement. Not many. You see now players getting their rankings when they're 14, 15, and it's different. The game changed a lot since then, but also um, with all the research done by, not only coaches, but, the technological part of the game, the uh, doctors' medicine, especially. That's what I think is probably the biggest improvements
Yeah,
done. And that's why you have guys like Nadal and Djokovic, playing at 35, 36. You may say that Nadal is, he gets injured and he's injured a lot. But I will tell you one thing: if you were injured like that 20 years ago, you probably were gone the first time you had an injury like that. And
definitely.
now the recover that these players have and do with the input of their medical equipment and the medical teams, and it's just amazing. You wonder, uh, how much longer we can gonna have these big players that take care of their the body, their mind, and are going to be playing for. It's like I, I think that, say, Roger, for instance, Federer is 40, 41, and he still thinks about coming back. That lets you know, how much not only you love the game, because you gotta love the game to be playing for that long, and having to 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 endure all the
Yeah,
physical strain, strains you can get from the game, the traveling, is just amazing. So that's a big part, and I think that's probably more of the things that we really want to go go through and get to know, so we can treat our kids growing up in a different way and not rushing. We tend to rush a little more now, and we need to have stronger heads over the shoulders to be able to compete and stay healthy.
yeah, and we know that you were a top coach, you top player, and then how was? Let me give you a question which is composed of two different questions. No, it's which are related. Because you were a top player, but then how was your vision to become a coach, and how was the evolution from to be a top player to be a coach, and of course director of an academy?
Well, to be honest, I don't consider myself a coach. I consider more of a director, and 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 getting the right coaches to try to do what I want to do. I'm not a I'll go on the court and I like to work with people, but it's not that I want to be 12 hours on the court like some coaches do, and those are the kind of coaches you need to have
Yeah,
uh, to keep getting what you want to get across. I'm not gonna. Because it's difficult. Everyone has to learn what is that they have to do,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
and if you ask me, I wanted to be a coach on the tour. I'll say probably now is too late for me. I'll say that I had my chance in my 40s, but I was competing a lot in the 40s, so I didn't want to get there. And once I stopped, I didn't want to travel too much. Maybe I wanted to get involved with players for a short period of time where I can help them, and it's probably different. But now I feel more like I want to get back to Ecuador, to what the tennis in Ecuador, and whatever I can, and I try to get the people that is running the sport, not only in Ecuador but in the region or whatever they ask me
Mhm.
to say my opinion, and that can help. it's fine. And I think I've done. I'm happy with the kind of job I've done because, and that's why I say I'm more of a tennis director. I like to, I, I I brought a lot of
Tennis leader,
tournaments
no?
that were done for the first time, and in Ecuador or in South America, I came with a different vision because you're not going to invent tournaments. Tournaments are there, but but they need to have a purpose.
Yeah,
And that's when you
yeah,
start seeing what you want to see.
yeah,
And in those tournaments, 20 years ago, I started at junior tournaments. I started, seeing some of the faces that I saw on the tour, like physical trainers or coaches that developed players that became great players later, having to give, their knowledge to the parents that were in the tournament, to the players that were in the tournament, and make aware of what tennis is. It's not a court balls and you go there, play 2 hours, go back home, they play another two, and then you do whatever routine you have. But I really think that the best players that are in the world are the ones that know exactly what is going on around them. You may not see it or notice it, but they know the history of the game. They know who played before them,
yeah,
and that is a reason why they are playing. Those are the ones that you say, um, probably they're doing nothing, but I assure you that they're probably watching the Wimbledon finals, watching the Roland Garros, or even watching matches from the beginning, because that's a way, that's a that's an instrument that you have now to keep learning and to keep seeing. And now probably
it's
you
very
learn a
important.
lot more. I learn a lot more watching different players all the time, and trying to get that into my activity, my daily activity, and trying to open up talks with our coaches to be and see what they want to do and what they feel the game should be doing.
Yeah, Andres, uh, that is very important because you are a tennis leader, and the tennis leader develop the game in the different phases, no? Tournaments, programs, academies, players at different ages, which is very important. Let me ask you, because you were a top player and also you are a top leader right now, developing many different programs and platforms to help people and to understand in better ways tennis. Uh, in our episode, we touch always what it means to be a high performance person, what it means, how you have to work with yourself to transform yourself and to work to be able to reach a new level, let's say, how to be in anything, because you can be a high performance person playing tennis, being in business, developing tennis, what it takes for you.
Well, what it takes, I don't think it takes much. I think it's my life. It's been my life for for 50 years, almost 60 years, uh, and what I feel I need to do is just make tennis accessible to the people, make knowledge accessible to the people. I'm not talking only coaches or players. I'm talking people in general, people that love tennis. Sometimes you get the best questions from people that they just likes the game, and they really into the game. I'm not saying that I'm talking tennis 24 hours a day, but probably um, I'm doing tennis 24 hours a day.
Yeah,
And from whatever I see, whatever scenes I see on daily basis, and not only for tennis. I love sports. Um, I love baseball. I watch baseball every day, and I like listening to the commentators, see what they say. That some of them ex-players from major leagues, and we have a different approach to the game, and sometimes you heard almost everything, but it's but in every other day, there is one thing that gets your attention, and you try to get involved different sports into it. Baseball is a thinking game too, and it's got a different approach. It's a team sports, whatever. But at the end, uh, or the main part is a pitcher against a hitter, and that's what you see in tennis, and that's where the
Yeah.
strategy comes the most. But going back to our sport, and I'm not trying to. I like to tell. Sometimes people tell me you should tell more stories. Raul did that all the time. You should tell more stories to the kids about what you did, but it's not easy because it's different. It's a different generation. You try to, and I'm not the one going around bragging about what I done, whether it's good, bad, whatever. But I just trying to get to them in a different situation. But there's also always one or two that want to know a little more, and those are the ones you need to talk, because this is not a classroom. This is not a school where you have to go there and you have to learn. This is something that you learn from wanting to learn,
Yeah.
and you need to have your attention span gone, be there. And whether and I always said, it's like when I was playing, and I was a big time player, but I not always played on center court. I had my times outside a lot.
And
And and
talking about that, Andres, how was that transformation? How was your human being transformation to be, like a young player with a lot of values, and then to become Roland Garros champion? How was that? But not talking about the game, about talking
yeah,
about yourself.
yeah, that's what I was wanting to say. It didn't matter whether you played on court 28 in front of 10 persons, or playing in center court in front of 20,000 persons. You had your time, and probably if you ask guys like the big three, they probably gonna go onto one of the side courts, say court, that's court number one, and going to be playing in front of only 10,000 when they're used to playing in front of 25,000.
Yeah.
And probably they kind of like, why I'm not in the stadium, but they learn to play for the people that is there, and try to do their best for the people that is there. And that's what is, what the mentality should be for the young kids, coming up. It's not that or I'm saving myself for the tournament, I can practice better, but I'm more of a competitor. I like to play. I like the challenge, and that's not true. You need to be performing, or trying to perform at your highest level all the time. That's something that is difficult, because it's difficult to achieve, to be playing at your best all the time. The best players play more or less at their 70%, and they
Yeah.
peak at the 100% in 3 or 4 points during the match. That's when the difference is made. So the transformation from going to nobody to somebody in terms of attention, and getting winning tournaments, and getting the the attention of the people outside. It's just a learning process. It's something that you need to endure during your younger years, because that's what you're looking for. And sometimes in South America, we do have the especially South American or Latin American, we
Yeah.
do have that experience from an early age. Why? Because uh, Davis Cup, which is huge in or Billie Jean King Cup, our countries get their younger players to be around that environment from early age, because we only probably Argentina and Brazil can do and say that. You know, their best players go there and they probably need to be already 24, 25. Not too many go when they're 18, 19, even 20. But in countries like Colombia, like Ecuador and Mexico, you get that attention from a very early age. You're 15 and they're already talking about you like you're going to be the next Davis Cup player, and that is something which I'm not going to talk long, but that I don't like about Davis Cup hurting our countries.
Yeah.
Getting the best of 5 out of our countries in Davis Cup is something that when I went and played my first Roland Garros, and actually my first US Open, which was my first Grand Slam. That was in 1979. I already had like probably 10 matches played in singles in best of 5. That was advantage for me over guys that are, that had one match or 2 matches. And when that was taken away from us, the best of 5, it hurt us a lot. And now we are probably in a pressure situation, in a pressure situation, an earlier age that most of the French or the Italians or even Spanish, where they're good, but by the time that they need to get all the attention of one country, they need to be already a top 100 player, and you understand,
Yeah. I understand.
It's different. So my learning process through that, it was at an earlier age that probably some of the Americans, maybe not John McEnroe, because they were already winning tournaments in big tournaments like
early ages.
Wimbledon or US Open when they were young, and that's where they got the big names there. But that is when you're an American or when you're a top player. I was a top player as a junior, but not one of the tops.
Yeah, many times we spoke that the big people, let's say, who has success in any area, in our case in tennis, but even in business and like actors, like the different activities, there are special key values that you have to develop, like commitment, strong vision, ready to pay the price. What do you think about it? Which will be the values that you need to develop in yourself to create that kind of success in the top level?
Well, I say yes and no, but because when I play my game, kind of was I took a lot of risk, a lot of chances. And I play a very aggressive game, very attacking game, and
exactly.
and in business, I'm completely the opposite. I take my time. I ask a lot.
You read the opponent.
Probably the last thing I do is see the opponent, and but that's something that you learn, and I don't know, but it's the way it is, and not only, and I'm trying to say, why am I like that? What I'm not like, if I was successful in tennis, why I cannot do that in other parts? Well, maybe because I was irresponsible when I played, but I was, yes, it was irresponsible. That I came into a generation, or I played in a generation where doing less unforced error was better than making winners. And I had the kind of game, whether I needed to have almost as many winners as an errors to win. Um, I was a big guy. I was very fast, so I needed to make short points most of the match. When I needed it to have longer points, I did. But that was the kind of game I had, the strategy that I have, and that was a big change because with the small rackets it was different. You cannot, you know, um, not a small rackets like the one behind you. Those I don't know.
No. But I have your rackets in my collection. I have
and
your
but
racket.
but the small heads, you needed to create some power, and that's when the game changed, and it became what it is today. It's a you know attacking game, but more than attacking, counterpunching. Right? That's what the best players do. The best players are the ones that defend the better, and they change their position from defending to attacking. So uh, tennis values are from every day, practice, being on time. I wasn't, one that I was always on time, but when I got to Florida with Mr. Hoffman, that changed, and I became aware about what I wanted to do. Maybe I still is something that I need to improve, trying to be more on time now in my day to day. I try my best sometimes, and but that's something that probably, if I hadn't played tennis, probably I would do a lot worse than what I am now. Uh, Day to day, having to to understand that in a game, that you play 52 weeks of the year. If you became successful and win 3-4 times a year the whole tournament, you had a great year. So you have to have probably another 26 weeks where you had a loss in the week, and you have to come back and learn from those losses, and trying not to let them stay with you for too long. Neither winning or losing, neither one is good when it's into your head for too long. You just need to build the confidence that is needed to achieve what you wanted to achieve by doing the things that you do best, and uh, and that word that I hate, that's called they call it perfectionism. I don't like it because in tennis it's impossible.
Yeah.
You know,
And,
you,
and and related with that, how you manage when you are playing on practice incredible, but you are going to the match and suddenly something is not working, something, how you manage your mentality to adapt that.
well, you have to know that you have to ready for when the time comes, and you never know when the time comes because you're always going to find somebody in the other side that wants the same things that you want, and sometimes he does it better that year, that day. If you let yourself down for too long and not ready, probably the next opportunity is the next week, and you may lose it because you were not prepared for it. So that's why the best thing for me when I played, if I lost in a tournament, and if I wasn't playing doubles and still in the tournament, I was just out of that city and getting to the next one, and trying to get the new vibes that you could get into a new place, and especially if you go to places where you were successful before, so much better. I'm not talking, and I'm not talking this mentality for guys like Nadal or Djokovic, or I'm talking more for kids that are
Yeah.
beginning and where they start, because um, the other guys got all set. And when, and not only them, when you get to a point where you can decide, okay, I want to play here, and my goals are to be in the top 5. It's different from a goal from a guy that is 18, 19, and I want to get more to them than to the guys that want to go to that are already there. They already know. They already know what to do. And it's probably in most points are probably the same, but there's some points that are their points that make the difference in their games compared to the whoever they're playing. Although those points might be different from one player to another, but that's why I'm talking more about young guys coming up, and that's why it's so hard now to get to these 18, 19, 20 years old to do what they have to do, because their mind is set differently, and they're used to quicker scenes, faster scenes. They call and they want something delivery, and if it's not delivered in 20 minutes, they're already start losing it up. We're used to getting things delivered. It could take up to months. How about a letter, a simple letter 40 years ago?
Yeah.
We'll send it. There were times when I was sending letters or postcards to my family, and I was coming back home for after 2, 3, 4 months, and the letter I sent was getting at the same time with me. So that was when I say, okay, it's no point in writing. We need to talk, and we laugh about that, but they have a different mentality. You have a 24-hour delivery from big scenes, and I learned that because my time with that, I was one of the first ones that I got my rackets delivered from New York all the time, and no matter where I play, and there was when a great service came that next day delivery, and I had rackets waiting for me, strung by whoever I wanted to string the rackets. But now you go to the tournaments and you have 40 great stringers there for you, ready for you. And so those things change, but they're good, they're better, they make you better, but that don't tell you that what some of the things that were done before are the ones that are going to help you do. And that's what we usually sometimes, or most of the times, we call experience. So they need to listen a little more. They need to understand a little more the game. It's not that, and especially the game is not only walking on the court and playing for 2 hours and then playing 2 more hours, and then the game is learning, reading about it, knowing who's doing what and where, and always be open to listen and to understand that you may be talking to somebody that is got a point, but the option to agree or not to agree is yours. Yeah. But you have another option. It's one point that you can learn something from somebody.
Let me ask you, Andre, a couple more questions, because I know that we can speak about tennis for hours. It's our passion. Let me ask you, what do you think about the ATP rule, the new rule about coaching? Which are your thoughts about it?
I don't like it 100% all the time. I mean, I think we got into a point that the bathroom breaks at the end of the set, and is now seen as
tactical. Yeah,
cheating. Not even tactical, cheating basically. So it takes 10 minutes. It takes 8 minutes. Well, and if you're a tennis fan and you're in the comfort of watching the match and going to your bathroom, whenever you want, and it's within a couple of steps, they feel that the players have that, and they don't. And we're talking about, this is an arena of 25,000 people where they're playing now, um, whether lockers, because it's not only going to the bathroom, you want to go to your locker. That's probably something that needs to be, changed. You need to have more access, quicker access to have the bathroom break and to use it as a bathroom break, not use it as something else. So that in that point, I'll see that it could be better a coaching break, whether you can be with your coach on court, not outside the court. Not that I'm going into the bathroom break and I'm doing whatever I'm doing in the bathroom and having my coach talking to me. No, you can have the coaching on site,
On site.
on the chair. So if you want to take 10 minutes, and you're allowed to have, I don't know, 5 minutes or whatever time you needed to have, you're gonna give me the chance or the opportunity to be with my coach for 5 minutes. Whether you're gonna come back in, and you're gonna have like no minutes to talk to your coach because you spend it in the bathroom. And I don't like to see talking, because it could be, you could have players like Nadal or like Djokovic that that ice and and sometimes works with the with your team, or you can have players like Kyrgios, like we saw last week and last Sunday. Uh, when I saw that he needed to be given a warning, because for me it clearly was coaching. He was openly talking to his box, and how you gonna control the coaches from not doing that? Now that you have the control and you're not allowed to do it, you see what you see. I don't know, and it might get into a kind of it's going to be a different situation. There are players that you have 2-3 players with one coach. Then you're going to have to get the coach. The coach are going to be requesting, which is done now. I have 2 players, please don't put it on the same time so I can be with both with them. But if you have a lot of matches, probably it's going to happen a lot too. It's going to be different. I'll say that I like the idea. I don't like the idea of
all the time
having a conversation in the middle of the points. Because even in games like team games, like basketball or baseball or football, you scream but you have your area, you can move from there, or you have your notes. In baseball now, they got the notes to see who's batting, where he's batting, and so it's different, it's different, and I like it somehow, but I don't like it full time.
Yeah. Let me ask you a couple more questions. You are receiving in your academy people from all over Latin America and different countries. How it works, your academy in Guayaquil? Give us some insights and some comments about how the academy is working in Guayaquil.
Well, basically, the club is a big club, and that's something that it also comes from the players and their parents. It's not only open to members. We do take players that are not members of the club, but not in an open situation, because it is a private club. That's why we keep getting called the elitists and all that. And but this club, which produce all the players, or 95% of the players in Ecuador, in the Play Davis Cup, especially Segura, Olvera, Guzmán, Icaza, Lapentis, Vivere, Davis Cup team now, they all learned it. But it's a club that is open to the best players from all over Ecuador come to the club practice. But the main thing is that this time we not only have one or two clubs with tennis developed in this way, but now we have a lot of open places where you can go and play. Guayaquil became a city of 3 million people, so it's a big city, and you need to have your tennis place around you where you want to practice, and you want to have the coaches being given the instructions, and this is what we're doing. We needed to have better people involved with tennis that love the game and that need to understand the game differently to become and have different players. So in the academy we have which is only 8 courses. It's not a big one either. We have that maybe 90 players working alongside the kids development with the club. So it's about 200, 250 players. So it's a big number, but we also have 18 courts. So it helps. And what we try to do, and I've never been part of a federation or association, but I'm always willing to work with what they want to do, and if they open to the suggestions, also that's what we need to keep getting more easier access to courts to the people, and the more we have, the better players we're going to have to.
Yeah. Last question. You spent the last 50 years in tennis, and I want to ask you if you enjoy your life in tennis.
Yeah, I enjoyed my life with tennis. I'm not going to say that there were times when I hated my life in tennis too. So it's just any other profession. There are good times, there are bad times, and bad times you need to stay strong, to be to go to the people that you believe and that are going to support you, and they're going to be pushing for you to get what you want to do. And I'm not talking only about tennis matches. I'm talking about in general, because it's not only a court, that tennis court that where you perform and have your profession, but it's also a life outside the tennis courts, around tennis also, but with all the the difficulties and that comes. But tennis as a sport that you need to take decisions quick to try to beat your opponent. You need to change the way of your tactics are in order to beat your opponent, and those things you can apply into real life too. And I'm not gonna do them the same, but you listen to some players that are the guys that play tennis, that love the game and they play every day or play and they like it, and they tend to talk, okay, I'm doing this on the court. If I do this in my business, how will it go? You can try to understand, because it's the same. It's basically the same. You have a physical and athletic ability to perform, to play, to learn how to play, that you're not going to have in other orders of life, and you just need to get the best out of it to be the best you can be.
Yeah, absolutely. We love the game and we love our sport. Andres, thank you. We can speak for hours, like I said before. Thank you very much to be in the new episode of the Tennis Talk. Coaches and leaders have a voice to talk about the purpose, to how we can keep evolving our game and doing contribution, which all the insight that you did today in our episode. Thank you very much to be again.
Very good, Fernando. See you soon.
Thank you. See you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I am Alberto Castellani, President of GPTCA, Global Professional Tennis Coach Association. Learn from the best ATP coaches in the world. I hope that at the end of this course you will learn a lot of things. I hope that I will see you on the circuit with your player. This is the goal.